ate noodles with no packet. Cereal with the canned
How do you guys feel about Murakami? Personally, for me, I'm slightly indifferent. But the internet is awry, and they love his beautiful colors, and so guess so do I. Let us get into this Murakami video today, guys. Let's go!
Not come from happiness. This entire brand came from pressure, fear, and an entire life shaped by trauma. Let's get into this.
Really? I like to learn new things.
So, if you've ever seen a Louis Vuitton bag covered in bright colors, or the graduation artwork by Kanye West, then you've seen just a little bit of work done by Takashi Murakami.
It's interesting because that color pattern by Louis Vuitton is one of my favorites, especially when they put it on the Christopher Thomas bag. Fire.
He's often referred to as the Japanese Andy Warhol. He was an artist who blurred the lines between fine art and pop culture. But behind the color is a dark past that nobody really realizes.
Really?
You see, Murakami's story does not start with success. It starts with pressure. As a child,
Well, I think it'd be very
growing
rare.
up in Japan, his
It'd be very rare for somebody to just start off right off the cusp. The man's is very successful. I think that doesn't make a lot of sense.
parents forced him to attend art exhibitions constantly. And if he didn't come home with a written, detailed report about what he saw, his parents would not allow him to eat. So from an early age, Murakami did not see art as something that was optional. It was about survival. And at the same time growing up, his mother would tell him something that stuck with him for the rest of his life. And that was that he was lucky to be alive. During World War II, on the day that the bombs were dropped across Japan, his hometown was allegedly spared. And this was not by choice, it was by chance. His mother told him that the skies were too cloudy. And that idea that his life existed because of randomness really stuck with him. And this created a deep awareness of death from a very young age. And that idea of fear would quietly shape everything that Murakami did. And as Murakami got older, he tried to enter Japan's traditional art world. And he actually failed over and over again. His work
Okay, you guys are running at 100 miles an hour here. Yeah, clearly the story is just like any other artist. You're going to start off with some sort of trauma because the trauma is important when it comes to art. Look at this Japanese flying fucking wasp that just jumped in here, dude. Get the fuck out of here. I'm in the middle of a stream, you fucking goof. Fuck. I have to open this window really big now. Let him get out of here on his own. Anyway, fuck. Now we lost our fucking train of thought. Thanks.
was constantly dismissed because it was too modern and too influenced by anime and too unserious. And because of this, Murakami began criticizing post-war Japanese society itself. He believed that Japan had become obsessed with kawaii culture, which is that cuteness, fantasy, and surface-level happiness that you would see in TV shows from back then, or anime shows. And in his eyes, it wasn't natural at all. It was a result of America's influence on the war. He felt that because of what happened to Japan during World War II, that they just surface-level.
This nigga is Murakami'd out, bro. He's Murakami'd out. He's doing it for the Mur and the Kami. All of it together.
Made this happy character anime stuff just to feel better. And he believed that Japan had completely lost its depth and became something flat. So Murakami created a theory that would describe that, and that was super flat, which was a world where everything, art, culture, and identity is all compressed into something shallow, commercial, and easy to consume. But here's the irony. Nobody was buying it. And by his early 30s, Murakami had no success at all. No major sales and no recognition. And because his entire life was dedicated to art, he felt like a failure. So Takashi Murakami was forced to make a decision. If the art world wouldn't accept him, how could he learn to beat it? And in this process, he began studying the most recognizable figures in the world. Characters like Mickey Mouse, Hello Kitty, Popeye. And he didn't do this for inspiration.
So you see, the man decided, hey guys, this sort of weird artsy thing that I'm doing right now isn't being digested by the public. I have to make my stuff and dumb it down. So once I dumb it down, then people will come up and start just gobbling it up. And that's exactly what he did. He took the biggest winning mascots of these major corporations and then flipped them on his head so that he could have success in the art world. And as in every artist, that's what you have to do. You have to be able to steal from the best of them.
It was for strategy. What makes something iconic and what makes people emotionally attached to an image. And out of that research, he decided to create a character called Mr. Dob, which is a chaotic mix of influences, familiar but slightly off. A symbol of consumer culture and also meaninglessness at the same time. It was a character or alter ego that was literally purposeless, but it mimicked Mickey Mouse, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Hello Kitty. And for the first time in Murakami's life, it actually worked. Murakami started gaining attention, but not just because of his art. It was because he was somebody doing something completely different. And then came the moment that changed everything. In 2002, Murakami connected with Marc Jacobs, which, for those who don't know, Marc Jacobs at the time was the creative director of Louis Vuitton. And Marc Jacobs wanted to take Louis Vuitton, which was a brand that was known for tradition and exclusivity, and bring it into the modern world for the younger audience.
These bags in this collection with the Murakami is actually so sick, dude. The attention to details, the color placements, it's as if, yes, you can have a color palette and gradient, but it's almost that he's controlling the way it's all sort of like falling and how much showingness of a certain color is on the certain letters or monograms that are on the pieces. is actually so genius.
How could Marc Jacobs take Louis Vuitton, something that was seen as a prestigious brand for usually older people, and make it something hip and modern for the younger people? So he reached out to Murakami because he was the opposite of everything that luxury stood for. Everything he did was bright, playful, and commercial. That's exactly why it worked. In 2003, Takashi Murakami and Louis Vuitton created a collection that reimagined the classic LV monogram. It was multicolored logos, cartoon eyes, and cherry blossoms. It was bold, it was different, and it completely exploded. And for the first time ever, luxury felt young. And it seems like during this time in the early 2000s, every young celebrity girl was rocking a Takashi Murakami Louis Vuitton bag. The collection was even featured in the popular movie Mean Girls. Murakami didn't just collaborate with Louis Vuitton, he changed the way that modern fashion worked. But this caused a huge contradiction. The same artist who criticized consumerism was now helping fuel it on a global scale. And after Louis Vuitton, Murakami didn't just stay in fashion. He pretty much took over pop culture. He was reached out to by Kanye West, and he was asked to do the entire artwork for the graduation rollout.
Yeah, he did a graduation rollout, and I believe he also did the Kids See Ghosts project as well, which is a fire artwork, fire project from those two artists coming together. So shout out to Ye, bro. Shout out to Ye for also wanting to use Murakami. I think the Murakami touch isn't just necessarily, it can be seen everywhere, just like he's saying, not just in pop culture, in music, but in fashion, in just modern day things too.
Which was one of the most iconic cover arts of all time, and also he did an entire music video with this Murakami bear. And if you look back at archived Kanye footage of his old house in the early 2000s, it is almost filled with Murakami memorabilia. After this, Murakami worked with Pharrell Williams on some major art pieces as well. After this, he collaborated with KAWS in 2011, where he helped raise funds for the 2011 earthquake victims. During the same time, he was doing collaborations with G-Shock. He was slowly integrating himself into everything pop culture. He then went on to collaborate in 2018 with Kanye West for his Kids See Ghost album rollout. A lot of people don't know that album cover was also Takashi Murakami. In that same year, he also collaborated with Drake and the brand OVO, along with Virgil Abloh and Off-White. And at the same time, Japanese brands like Bathing Ape were rising globally. Murakami was the bridge between it all, Tokyo and the West, art and fashion and luxury and street culture. And when he did the Murakami collab with Supreme, it almost broke the internet. His smiling flowers were more than just art. It became a status symbol of taste and being in tune with the culture. And for a moment, Murakami wasn't just a part of pop culture, he was pop culture. When it comes to this whole streetwear and hypebeast scene, you literally could not go without seeing something Takashi Murakami. But behind the scenes, the same patterns of his childhood started showing again. Murakami decided to build a massive studio operation called Kai Kiki, I think is how you say it, don't judge me, which was a system that his assistants helped him produce his work at scale. To some,
it's so crazy because a lot of people in this way of making art, a lot of people will criticize it and says that now the ideas and things they're trying to do is too like corporate because you've sort of broken down the processes of making art. But if someone were to say that to someone like Walt Disney at the time, where he was just one man making cartoons, you can only do so much as one person. The things that you're able to do and scale out in large scale, especially when you have people working for you, is so much easier as an artist. And also, Kanye is also very reminiscent of doing things in this nature of having sort of multiple departments working on a singular project at one time. I think it's genius, and it's a good use case of energy versus just having one person do every single painstaking process. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, you know.
it was seen as efficient, but to others, it felt like a factory. Critics began to question everything. Was he still an artist, or did he sell out the brand? I mean, there's literally an interview on the internet where it shows Murakami laying down and sleeping on the floor of this factory. That's how hard he was working on this. And Murakami actually admitted it himself. He was constantly afraid. He was afraid of becoming irrelevant, he was afraid of becoming forgotten, and he was afraid of time running out. And during the pandemic, everything cracked. His business suffered massive financial losses, his projects collapsed, and for the first time in years, his empire looked fragile. He was also heavily criticized for his NFT project that he put out in 2021, as well as the collaboration with Nike and the
Yeah, and the Riffcraft or whatever the fuck that shit is called.
Fact brand. These NFTs at the time were selling between $4,000 and $8,000, and one of the very first Murakami flower projects that he put out drew bids of $260,000. And soon after, everything fell apart, nobody liked NFTs anymore, and those now go for around $200 to $300. Fans felt like it was something that was completely out of his norm and completely out of his whole expertise. But that's when you start to understand the flower.
That's when you also understand the fact that the NFT craze, everybody was just looking to make $1, bro. Everyone was looking to make $1. And the fact that they are now pretty much valueless and are all sitting pretty much at zero tells you how much consumer energy can move something and make something have value. It's the way the game goes. All NFTs are useless right now and they have no value, bro, and it's sad. So I'm glad also that he has his own iconography and something that symbolizes who he is too. The logo of his got popping.
They were never just happy. They were forced smiles and almost like a mask. It was a reflection of culture hiding pain behind perfection and an artist doing the exact same thing. Murakami once set out to criticize consumerism, but he ended up accidentally mastering it. At one point, he rejected Western influence, but he became a global icon in the United States pop culture. And in the end, he didn't just create a symbol of happiness, he created a symbol of everything hiding beneath it. And that pretty much wraps up today's video. I hope you guys enjoy. I've actually been wanting to make this one for a while. I love Takashi Murakami.
Yes, as do I, friend, and I appreciate your video today. And with that, guys, I will catch you in the next one. Later.